An earthquake is kind of an unwelcome guest. It will wake you up in the middle of the night when you weren't expecting any company. It might yank you out of bed. Uh, it might start you ripping things off the walls. It could block the exit to your home when you have just been rudely awakened to start with. There could be all kinds of unpleasant behaviors of this unwelcome guest. It never calls ahead to let you know when it's coming. Uh, Having said that about an earthquake, I'm not very familiar with them. I have felt four of them in my lifetime because we live in an area where they don't happen very often. I know some people are used to the shake, rattle, and roll. I don't think I could live that way, waiting for the big one. Uh, but they can happen, obviously, in any place and in the areas where the building codes um, are not slanted toward minimizing earthquake damage. We could be in a much worse situation than a lot of people. And there's a lot of significant fault lines in the eastern half of the United States. We just don't get the tremblers like they do in California very often. I just wanted to say something very obvious and not waste your time here. That was a minute and a half of nothing so far. Um, I have a shelf. I have a wooden shelf. When you walk into my room, it has a standard size door, and right between the bed and the door is a shelf that I think there's 5 shelves top to bottom. It's a wooden shelf. It's probably wider than my hands can show on the screen. It's probably, I don't know, 32 inches wide, maybe, and maybe 8, 10 inches deep, and it's taller than me, or maybe up to my eyes or something, but it's probably 5 feet tall anyway. And it has books and a few little things on it, not much anymore. But it wouldn't take much to knock that sucker over if the earth started going, things started to shake, rattle, and roll. It wouldn't take much to knock that thing over. And there I would be with the shelf knocked forward, and the only exit to the room would be blocked by this shelf full of stuff that would now all be at my feet. And I don't walk that great to start with. I certainly don't get up very well in the middle of the night. I have some physical problems. I have a hard time getting up in the night. So here I would be in this pretty grim situation, trying to get out of bed to start with, which is trouble, and trying to climb over the shelf of stuff that had knocked all over the floor. And then one of the things on the shelf is a little tiny lamp with a nightlight bulb in it. So then you got that to deal with. It's plugged into the wall. I don't I don't think that would be too smart to leave it there. So I'm going to make plans sometime in the near future to make some revisions. There's so many things I'd like to do, but I am very limited physically to what I can do. I have a wish list, and my husband would be more than happy to help me with that if I asked him to do it, I'm sure. But it's one of those things that you just look at day after day and go, I'll move that shelf. I think I'll move that shelf today. I ought to take things off of that and move that shelf. So just take this is, if I would follow my own advice, I'd be a much happier woman, much more prepared woman. But just take a look around and see if you have an obvious hazard like that. There's so many things you could do to prepare for an earthquake better, but having shelves and their contents falling over, making a huge obstacle to get out of a building is not the smartest thing to do. So maybe you have some of those dumb things hanging around your house too. But the earthquake is an unwelcome guest, but nobody is able to tell it, call me next week, I'm busy. You cannot say, this is not a good time, call me next week and I'll see if I can fit you in. That does not work with an earthquake. So just a little nudge to take a look at your environment and see if you have things that would fall over easily to block your exit. I had the earthquakes that I have felt have been a very, very strange experience. The last one I felt was several years ago. I was sitting at a kind of like a dining room table where I had a computer by the window, and everything just felt like it turned to jelly. And they say that the ground, I guess depending on what kind of an earthquake it is, I guess they're not all the same, but I guess the ground, from what I have heard of second-hand reports, the ground can kind of liquefy and the actual the ground will go up and down in waves. There's your visual. Pretty pathetic, sorry. But I have nothing more to say. God bless your efforts to prepare. Take a look around for some obvious problems for earthquakes in there. And there's stuff all over the internet you can find about preparing and the things you can do to reinforce your hot water heater and turn off your natural gas and so on and so forth. So let's do the simple things that we can do anyway. Make a list. Check it twice. Be sure to store. Never mind, I'm just being silly. God bless your efforts to prepare. Bye.